am Wesley from ACONNECTIONTV, the network, and the one channel on YouTube where we actually adopt a similar connections despite our differences. And this is not going to be a long review. I'm hoping that this review will be under 10 minutes because there really isn't much to talk about. But Real Housewives of motherfucking Atlanta. Now, I already saw the fight or the altercation. I think they played it Saturday, or at least I got a recording on my DVR on Saturday or Friday. One of those days where it showed like it was like a 27-minute first look. So I got to see the altercation. Let me tell y'all right off the bat, because at the end of the day, and I can't, you know what, honestly, I can't even really remember what I said in my last review, because when I think about it now, the only people that were at fault were the people that acted out of character. Okay? That's how I'm gonna resolve this whole fucking shit. Because at the end of the day, every single last person on this cast is a grown ass adult. There is no one a part of this cast that is 20-something. None of them are 20-something. They are all grown ass adults acting like fucking kids. Okay? Nene instigated the situation, okay? She was pouring fuel on the motherfucking fire, trying to get everybody all lit up. Do I agree to that? Yes, I do. I agree that Nene wanted to see some flames come out of the situation. I don't think that Nene wanted people to fight. Okay, I don't think she wanted people to fight, but she did want shit to get started. And at the end of the day, I think in her mind, she wanted everybody to be fucking real and lay the shit out on the table. Lay all the cards out on the table. Let's stop acting like, and let's get right. So I think that's what Nene's intentions were. Okay? Now, Nene sparked a question, okay, that started it off with Kenya and Natalie and Chris. Chris getting up. Do I think Chris should have gotten up to address the female? No, because that looked really bitchy. Some of y'all were leaving comments on my review talking about, no, he got up just to read the question and then decided to address Kenya. But even in his address, it was real bitchy. Okay, at the end of the day, it was real bitchy. You're a black man on national television addressing a female because your wife tattletailed. Your wife couldn't be grown up fucking enough to address her. So she needed to get her man up to address a female. That was all bitch. That was all bitch. Point blank period. That's how I feel about the situation. Kenya getting up. Should Kenya have gotten up? There was no reason for Kenya to have gotten the fuck up. No one was approaching her. No one was saying, well, they were saying something to her, but no one was approaching her. She got up, I guess, in defense because Chris got up, but at the same time, Chris is a man. Okay? Do you really think that Chris is gonna charge you? Maybe then again, I don't know. His bitch ass got up to address you, so maybe. But when Kenya got up and went past Chris to address Natalie. Now Chris putting his hands on Kenya. Now, should Chris have put his hands on Kenya? No. All Chris had to do was say, what you trying to do? You're not going to my lady. What you trying to do? But at the end of the day, if your woman was woman enough to tell your ass what all the shit that Kenya said, and she a workout trainer, got abs for fucking days, tell her bitch ass to get the fuck up and address this girl. If she want to be all high and mighty sitting on some goddamn fluffy pillow, her husband sitting up here cussing out Kenya for some stupid shit, tell her to get her punk ass up. Why the hell you out playing devil's barricade for my wife over a fucking chick? Okay? At the end of the day, Chris felt some sort of way, Kenya felt some sort of way. Chris should not have touched Kenya. Because we don't know what's about to happen, and I'm a friend of Kenya, Kenya's my road dog, I'm getting up to make sure nothing goes wrong with my female friend. Because this male decided to get up and address my female friend. So as Brandon, yes the fuck I'm getting up. Was Brandon in the right? Yes, he was. Once Chris put his hands on Kenya, Brandon had every right to intervene and make sure that his friend was not about to get anything happening to her from a dude. Okay? That's the code. Society knows that guys aren't supposed to hit females because females are this and females are that. So trust and believe, because the world tells me that a guy is not supposed to hit a female. As a guy, I'm going to get up and protect my female friend because I don't know what the fuck is about to happen. So when Chris put his hands on Kenya, Brandon said, we ain't about to do that. Shit gets crazy. Now y'all corrected me on the review and said that Peter wasn't the one that pushed Brandon. Chris was the one that pushed Brandon. When I watched it back, I saw that. Chris was the one that pushed Brandon. That's why Brandon got all crazy. Apollo got his bitch ass up for no reason. Apollo got his bitch ass up for no reason. There was no reason for Apollo to get up. Nothing was concerning Apollo. Nothing was concerning Phaedra. Nothing. Nothing was concerning Peter either. Nobody had any reason to get up. If you're going to defuse the situation, defuse the situation. Apollo fighting Brandon, Apollo's a bitch. Point blank period. Apollo's a bitch. He's a sexy bitch, but he's a bitch. Brandon had every right to defend himself in that situation. Brandon had every right to defend his friend in that situation. The way that people reacted was the fault of the individual because they reacted that way. Fast forward, let's get to Kandi. Kandi versus Cynthia versus Mallory versus Todd versus Peter. Shit calms down. Kandi brings the shit back up. She's like, all right, since y'all want to act like everything is all copacetic, let's address one thing, because I feel some sort of way about how y'all talked about Todd. No problem. We're going to address that. Todd and Kandi were calm. They were calm. Cynthia, you know how she is. She wants to do the thing with the hands. Now, is that a sign? Should Kandi have taken that as a sign of like a threat? No. Because it's Cynthia. Cynthia is scared of a fucking roach. Okay? Cynthia is not gonna pop off. Cynthia is not gonna do anything. So Kandi, knowing that already, Kandi should have calmed down a little. She shouldn't have got too hyped. Okay? I'm gonna just say that. Because Peter is Cynthia's husband, and she's getting heated over something, and he sees Kandi and Todd at his wife, of course, because he's the husband, he's gonna step in and intervene. Mallory, because she's the sister, is gonna step in and intervene. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that. No one's gonna do anything to Cynthia when Mallory is there. No one's gonna do anything to Cynthia when Peter is there. Makes perfect sense to me. Okay? Now here's when shit gets crazy. Something, they talking, going back and forth, sparking it. Peter's being boastful. Peter is acting like he's a G. Peter is trying to patronize Kandi and Todd, talk down to them like, what's going on? What y'all about to do? Like, Peter is the road dog. So Kandi looking at Peter like really? Like, you really trying to really? You really trying to punk us right now? Because that's how I took the situation. And that's how I know Kandi took the situation. She like, come on, son, you really trying to downplay the situation right now? Don't try to act like you trying to punk the situation. Trying to step up, chest all brolic and shit. Todd felt it too. One thing is said, something, Todd and Peter get close. And Peter gets really too close. Todd pushes Peter. Then shit goes a little crazy. Mallory pushes Todd. I didn't see when Mallory touched Kandi. I saw Kandi reflex to try to protect her man because a female was attacking her man. So Kandi went after Mallory. That's how I took that situation. I didn't see Mallory go like this to the shoulder. I only see Mallory touch Kandi once Kandi went after Mallory because Mallory pushed Todd. Then everything goes crazy. Kandi going crazy. Kandi going buck. Wow, Kandi going buck. Wow. I was feeling for Kandi because Kandi started crying when people get mad and they can't do anything about the situation and they really want to go off but they can't, they start to cry. And I felt that before, where you cry because you just can't do shit. She's like, I will drag that bitch. I will drag that bitch. Mallory all calm and shit. That shove that Todd gave, that shove that Mallory gave Todd was kind of forceful. So although Kandi is a G, I don't know. Mallory was like, I'll murder that bitch tonight. I don't know who the fuck she talking to. I'll murder that bitch. I was like, damn, so who would've won? At the end of the day, Nene's going crazy like, yo, I can't fucking believe this. This is terrible. Why are you acting like this? Why you acting like this? Why you acting like this? Nene had a lot of shit to say on her post-confessional. She really did. Say blaming everybody for everything. At the end of the day, Kandi didn't have to act the way she did. Cynthia didn't have to act the way. No one had to act the way they acted. Like, no one. None of them needed to act that way. So, it's everybody's fault. Okay? It's everybody's fault. Punk, Monique, and Chuck off to the side. No, they really didn't have to get involved, but they really look like some scared Diz, Diz in the headlights. I don't know. We moved past that. Everybody the next day is explaining to their significant other about what happened. Apollo doesn't seem to think that he did anything wrong. The only person he apologizes to is his wife. Phaedra don't think that Apollo did anything wrong either. Phaedra thinks that Apollo was protecting himself. Clueless. Cynthia explains the situation, or talks to Cynthia and Peter talks to Nene and freaking Greg about the situation. This is where Nene annoys me. She sits and I don't, maybe Brandon is some sort of way off camera. I know Brandon was a hot mess last season, but Nene in her word choice and the way that she addresses Brandon is off. Is really off kilter. Because it's borderline disrespectful. Nene, the only people that really like you are the gays, to be honest. The only people that really give you your shine are the gays. So for her to sit there and downplay Brandon like, oh, this queen with the red robe, with the red gown on, was doing too much and blah, blah, blah. He thinks he's a lady. He needed to mind his business. It was way left. That was so uncalled for. That made no fucking sense when Nene was explaining the situation with Brandon. Because Brandon had every right to defend his friend. Every fucking right to defend his friend. This is the only time where I think that Kenya actually, and it wasn't even Kenya. Brandon was in the right period. Okay? Kenya did not need to get up. She should have been civilized. She could have been civilized because she should have got up the way Nene was berating her motherfucking ass and called her fucking out. All types of names. Kenya should have got her ass up to address Nene. But she didn't get up to address Nene. So I'm like, why the fuck you get up now? I mean, come on. Like, it was just, like, you gotta pick and choose your battles. But at the end of the day, two wrongs don't make it fucking right. But Brandon was not wrong in any of this situation. At all. So, calling him queen and this and queen and that, I'm like, that's some bullshit. Kandi explains the situation to Carmen, and Kandi thinks that she needs to apologize. I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but I don't really think that Kandi needed to apologize. I don't really think that Kandi needed to apologize. I really don't. I think that she reacted. Like, there's a cause and effect for everything, okay? There's a cause and effect for everything. For every action, there's a reaction, okay? So, Mallory's actions warranted Kandi's reaction. That's how I feel. But Kandi feels that she needs to apologize, whatever. Kandi has rehearsals and auditions for her play. By the way, I mean, her play is doing well. We already know it's successful. No need to talk about that. Shout out to Funky Daniva, who's in the play. Shout out to Portia for making it in the play. Shout out to Kandi and doing her play. But the American Idol auditions, people sounding terrible in Atlanta. Terrible. Let's talk about, what was next? What happened after this? What was next? Kandi has all the girls come to this spa. Now, we have a spa like this in New York. I don't know if a lot of you guys know about it. It's called the Spa Castle. It looks exactly like that spa. And it's off the chain. It's off the chain. You get massages, you get pedicures, all this stuff. You get the jacuzzis, outside jacuzzis, you get food, they got bars and everything in the spa castle. Off the chain. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so we get past that, right? And they go to the spa or whatever, and they're talking. Portia, Kandi, and Kenya get massages. Phaedra shows up. Nene and Cynthia get patties. They sit down at the table to discuss who's at fault. That's what I feel like this discussion was. Although Kandi started off saying, I apologize, Cynthia's like, yeah, okay, I'm listening. Like, Cynthia was really owed an apology. Cynthia, no, Cynthia. There's a way that you need to correct yourself. All the energy that you have right now is very off-putting because there's no reason for you to feel the way that you do right now. Because Kandi spazzed out because you got into her personal space. And she started off talking about, oh, I know I got into your personal space, but still. Like, she was expecting an apology. She was expecting an apology. And I don't remember Cynthia apologizing for getting all into her personal space. She just shoved it off like, I got into your personal space, but you got all crazy and you shouldn't have got all crazy, and my sister didn't touch you. Nene says that Mallory pushed Kandi. But the way that Cynthia was, I'm like, Cynthia, you're not about that life. So all of that attitude, you need to stop. Phaedra not apologizing for Apollo, I thought that was very off-putting too. I'm like, at the end of the day, how do all of these girls think that Kenya is at fault for the whole situation? Are you fucking serious? These broads got their screws loose. And I don't really even care for Kenya like that, but there is no way Apollo beating up on Brandon is Kenya's fault. There's no way that Kandi acting out of pocket because Mallory pushed Todd is Kenya's fault. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. I think Kenya should have admitted that she shouldn't have got up. But once grabbed, you don't grab the way that Chris grabbed her, that's not get away from our wife. Chris did not need to put his hands on her, period. Nene is so occupied with trying to make sure that the world knows that it was Kenya's fault, and it was not Kenya's fault. That whole situation was not Kenya's fault. I was very turned off by this whole tea at the motherfucking spa business discussion because it just didn't make sense to me. And Portia was like, I think everybody should admit to their wrongdoings. And, maybe we can move on from here if everybody admits at the table what they were at fault for. Nene didn't apologize for shit. Granted, just because Nene is pointing out the truth doesn't mean that these bitches and these crazy people need to act all crazy and ignorant. That does not mean that. So it is not Nene's fault, okay? It isn't Nene's fault, right? But Nene played a hand into getting the shit started up. Point blank, period. Nene didn't admit to her wrongdoing. The only people that admit to their wrongdoings was Kandi. So the whole thing was a wash. Like, it really was a wash. Like, I don't know what y'all thought about this episode. The episode was crazy. I'm glad we finally got the episode out of the way. It was insane. I enjoyed the drama. But the only one that was mature in this situation was Kandi. After the fact. Because even Cynthia had a stick stuck up her ass. Like, leave y'all comments below the videos. Let me know what y'all think about this particular episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And share this video on Facebook and Twitter. And tweet the people, the cast, this review. Deuces.